Speaking of traumatized, Ron, what rules for Desolid are we using?
By himself, him being Desolid, I think.
Right now, I'm having Desolid not have its own defensive quality. You have to buy defense that goes with it. So basically, it becomes Force Field, just defined as being Desolid, just as the special effect. And so you link the Force Field to the Desolid.
I just need to know if I need to revisit the hell world of trying to figure out how to time an attack on this guy. But
yeah,
that should be okay.
Yeah. You see, the trouble is that if I get rid of Desolid as a defense, then we don't need FX Desolid as a power.
Right.
But on the other hand, I'm not sure I want to go that far with it. If you're getting a power called Desolid, then people shouldn't be able to grab you.
Right.
On the other hand, if he wants to do horrible things to people, he has to not be Desolid.
Yeah, but that's the case already.
Yeah, I was going to say, by himself.
Right. Well, no, that's true.
He's not much of a threat if he just goes around.
The issue is...
Well, also, you guys know about Ghost now, that they only operate in groups. They never operate solo.
Yeah. So that means someone else is hanging out here. But... I'm sorry, I'm still hung up on this Desolid. But the issue was that you can was aborting to Desolid. So you Desolid to do something, and then if you get attacked, you just fucking abort, and then you're, got your get out of jail free card. So
yeah, that's true, and that's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why you do lose your next action.
If what you need to do as the hero is beat him into the ground, it's a pain in the ass. If you've
got other things, no, it's completely a pain in the ass. It's you get away, no problem. Then you sink into the floor and you're done. There's only one. There's only one problem. That happens in the comics all the time.
Yeah, I know.
It is overpowered. So, so I got to wrestle with that a little bit. I'm going to go back and review not just the Vision, but other characters who do shit like that.
Yeah.
And I want to see when somebody punches them.
Right.
I want to go see. Now, granted, I'm not asking for the comics to be 100% consistent, but there are those moments when such a thing is well written.
Right. It also helps to review. I think it also helped to review how many characters are doing this as their main shtick.
Very few. Very few. There are characters who can. The two characters at Marvel who matter the most, and is the Vision and Kitty Pryde. And it is
Kitty Pryde given. Just does that. Right. She grabs people.
Right. Well, it's a given that when the Vision came in, remember the Vision began as a villain's construct.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And as such, like all such characters, as a villain is incredibly powerful and able to take on all the Avengers.
Right.
Partly because they're not ready for his fucked up powers, and partly because he's supposed to be just that good. Then when he becomes part of the team, you see his competence with those things drop sharply, and now people can punch him before he goes Desolid.
Right.
So, that's always the case, right? When you have a reformed villain, they're always way more powerful before the reformation. It's kind of like their villain bonus goes away and they lose a bunch of points. And so I think that I have to look at the Vision as a hero. But however, even as a hero, at that time, going unsolid was not a common power and was treated as incredibly surprising and spooky as part of his persona. Other characters had thought balloons. That's really freaky.
Spectre.
Yeah, they didn't like it, and there's a great sequence when he fights the Marvel version of Superman, Hyperion.
Right.
And Hyperion gives him this whole thing about how he's this son of the exploded planet and all this shit and all the rest of it. And the Vision just basically goes, makes his hand Desolid and sticks it into him. It's like, fuck you, zap, right? And but and Hyperion had never seen anything like that before. It wasn't like a power that everybody knew about. The other interesting example is when he tries to do it on Wonder Man, who is this kind of energized corpse guy, right? And this is how we find out that Wonder Man's not really alive. Is when he tries to do it on Wonder Man and it hurts him, but Wonder Man punches him and knocks him sprawling. So it's not, I mean, why didn't he just go Desolid, right? When Wonder Man punches him, there's got to be, it can't be that fucking easy. Is all there's got to be doing. I mean, there's got to be some role or some, the fact that, and Kitty Pryde gets hit all the time when she's not, she's taken by surprise. So, I think surprise needs work.
Yeah.
Being able to actually get ahead of the other guy's reaction is a big deal. In well-written superhero comics fights, you get the idea that some of the people writing and drawing this have actually been in fights. And, in the good ones, it's not just, you can tell the bad ones when it's just the bolts and the punches just get traded and there's no actual sequence to it. But in some of them, there is kind of this awareness that sometimes you've got your guard up and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're able to actually bob their head and get your guard off and then they can punch you. And it's not just, and they do that with the powers too. They actually talk like that in the Doom Patrol. I was actually really impressed. They actually talked about how somebody got me off guard, or got me, he got me, or stuff like that.
I mean, those guys were probably in World War II, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, people like Kirby and people like Bruno Premiani and people like that. Yeah, they'd all. I mean, shit. Jack Kirby was at D-Day, was at Normandy. Yeah. I mean, it's. And a lot of them came up through boxing. Right. So yeah, it's an interesting. It's kind of humbling to read the fights now and say, God, this was much better writing. You just think of it as some bullshit '60s superhero fight, and you're like, actually, this is actually very coherent. Exactly who did what to who all the way through.
Right.